it already remembers me, so I am already in the system. Just to warn you guys, I'm having a little bit of internet today, so hopefully this presentation will go smoothly. So guys, as you can see now, I'm actually logged in at the top here. It says app.emaze.com. You actually don't need to go to emaze.com at all. You can actually bookmark this, and you'll be able to access it whenever without having to go the extra step and go to emaze.com. Now, if you're not familiar with Emaze, you'll see at the top here we have a couple options on our toolbar. You see mine, and these are presentations that I've created. So here's some in my library. Shared, which means these are presentations that either someone has shared with you to view or has collaborated with you. What collaboration means is it gives another Emaze user the ability to edit your presentation. Now, unlike Google Docs where you're able to do this simultaneously, each individual is able to edit at the same time, and then you'll be able to see those edits that the other person made. You should know that this is a premium paid feature. I'll tell you guys a bit more about those at the end, but to get this particular feature, you must have a premium plan. You'll see the Explore button here at the top. This is where you're able to actually view presentations that we've selected from our users. So whether you're looking for inspiration, you want to have a good idea of something to do, or maybe even like something so much that you want to copy it. Of course, I don't encourage plagiarizing, but if you like the formatting, for example, there's this donut one. I'm going to click the arrow right here. Give it just a second to load. All right, so you'll see right here, this is our player button. I'm going to push this, and I'm going to select the button duplicate. If I select the button duplicate, it's actually going to go into my folder, and then I can make edits and use this template or use whatever I want from it. All right, so you'll see right here we have an arrow and the acronym PPT. What that means is import from PowerPoint. Now, what this means exactly is that you are able to copy your images and your text when you import a PowerPoint or actually a keynote presentation. You should know to Emaze. So, of course, you also cannot export your Emaze presentation into PowerPoint. This feature is just to copy your content and your images. Now, today I want to go ahead and start creating a new presentation. So to do that, I'm going to push the New button right here. You'll see here, if you haven't played around with Emaze yet, that we have a pretty large variety of different templates. We have 2D, we have 3D. You can, of course, hover your mouse over any of the templates, and you get a quick preview of what it is. You'll notice that some of our presentations, if I click on them, our templates, you actually have different themes, which means that it's the same exact presentation, but 4 different colors, 4 different fonts. A really nifty one that I like to show people that's a well-kept secret is the first grade. Our first grade one, our 4 themes are actually completely different, and I really encourage people to use this, whether you're a teacher or not. I think it's a really fun one to play with. So that means that if I started on the blackboard and I want to switch to paper, I could, and my text and my images would remain the same. So I'm actually going to start you guys with a new template we released yesterday, and we're calling it Market Analysis. So I'm going to head and click this one, and you'll see here that, again, in this template, there's actually 4 is because we want to give you the ability to create it professionally like a designer. So we're giving you all the colors in the right scheme for it to look professional and to look well designed. And same goes with the fonts. Okay, guys, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and click on this one, open up our first presentation. And now if you're not familiar with the Emaze editor, this is where we are now. This is where you can actually go in and edit your presentation. So I'm just going to walk you guys through a couple of the functionalities on the top. You'll see here this plus button where there's a slide. This means that I'm actually able to add additional slides to my presentation. On this particular template, just so you know, it actually alters every other slide brings you a different color. So it starts blue, it changes to peach. But you'll notice with each of these slides, it has its own predefined layout. Of course, you don't have to use this. This is just as a guide. You can delete everything that you see here besides the background color itself. You have charts, you have other analytic tools, and like I said before, it's all yours. You can do whatever you want with it. You can keep it or use it in a different way. Okay, so you'll see at the top here we have something called sections. What a section is I'm going to go ahead and click right here. You're going to see a section title. I'm going to erase this and call it intro. And basically the idea of this is to break up your presentation for a couple of reasons. If you make a large presentation and you want to go back and go through specific slides, you're able to do so through our player, and also to help you segment the presentation when you're delivering it. So I would write, I don't know, middle section. So I'm going to get back into that a little bit later. I just had a user ask if there is a way to adjust any of the colors and add your own palette. No, like I mentioned before, we don't have that ability. The idea of Emaze is we're giving you the colors and the text that you need to be able to create something. Because if not, you may have some really tacky color, might not look so attractive. So the reason we do this is actually as a guide. We do have in our future roadmap, we are building what we have called a custom template self-service, where you'll actually be able to use our software and you pick your own colors and your fonts. Again, this will be in the coming months. All right. So as I mentioned before, you have themes. If I want to, I can go ahead and switch colors now. So I think just for fun, I'll go ahead and switch. Marjorie, I just answered that. You cannot create your own template. This is in the future roadmap that will be able to do this. All right, guys, sorry about that. Moving on. Okay, so you'll see at the top we have a couple functionalities. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with text. So I'm going to click on here where it says, actually, let's go back here to your title page. And then I'm going to go ahead and click here and it highlights my text box. So if I select here, I'm actually able to change the type of text. As I mentioned before, each template has its own predefined text. So for this one, we have a title, which you see now, subtitle, and the small one is just the text. I'm going to keep it in title. Of course, you don't have to use any of these for the specific purpose. If you like the title text, you can use it for regular text. There's no limitations. Okay, so if I want to adjust the size of the image, I can go ahead and do that here. If I want to move the alignment, if I want to switch the side where it's at, I'm able to do so. If you're familiar with any other Microsoft tools, any basic PowerPoint, then most of these should be familiar for you at the top. You could, of course, bold your text. You could change your color. On this one, we have 5 different color choices. You can add a background color, which I recommend doing. It can give a really nice effect sometimes. If I want to add an effect to it, we do have this new feature where you can do effects. For instance, this is shrinking it in and out. Or we have the ability, sorry about that. You can make it buzz when I hover over it. You can make it grow when you hover over, which I really like. Again, this is a new feature that we have, and each template has its own different effects, and we're adding more and more of these, and they're really, really fun to use. You can adjust the shading. So if, for example, I wanted to dim my text and I wanted to add an image over it, and then move the image in the front, I could do that, and then this text would be the background. I'm just going to move this back. You can, of course, add bullet points. We have more paragraph alignment adjustment. If you are a Hebrew or Arabic speaker, you might need to switch the size of your text, and you're able to do that with the P, which you should be familiar with. You can attach a link. These last things I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to show you with the image. So I'm going to go ahead and move along to the next segment. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a new slide. And I'm going to go ahead and choose this one. All right, so we're going to talk about images now. If I select this image right here, you'll see that I have the option to add a border. So I could click this one or here. I personally think the purple looks nice. From your computer, downloading it directly from your browser, or take it directly from your browser. You also can just simply copy and paste an image from the internet. You don't need code. You could just literally copy paste and you could slap it in. The other option is that you can also just drag it. So we don't have too many features in terms of adjusting the picture like you would in some of your other editing tools, but you do have the ability to crop an image. Again, you can adjust the fading. Sorry, this was for the border, not for the image. Or you could change the color of it. You could change the shading. As I mentioned earlier, you can add a link. So if I wanted to, I'm going to go ahead and click right here. I can do www.emaze.com. I'm in play mode. I can actually click onto this picture and it will redirect me to the image. As I mentioned earlier, we do have sound. So for our sound, you should know that the best way to do it is to take a YouTube video and then import into an MP3 or an MP4 and put it into the presentation. This allows you to do a couple things. You can have background music. You can have something playing throughout the whole presentation. You can have music that plays when you go to a specific slide. You can even have music with an action. So for example, if I had a cat on my presentation and I wanted to make it meow, I could add a sound for that when I clicked on it. So those are just a couple of the options with the sound. Like I said before, I recommend either taking MP3, MP4 file, or taking something directly from YouTube and converting it. The reason we recommend this is because, unfortunately, we don't have any control of whether YouTube keeps their videos or not. So if you take audio from YouTube and the video disappears, then obviously your sound would go away with it. I showed you guys this for a brief second, but you can, of course, move your text from front to back. So if I wanted to put my text over this image, I can using this simple thing here. You can see it's already there. So if I change it, it goes to the back, and I can move it back to the front. You can, of course, rotate your photo as well, turning it here. So if I want to make it cool on an angle, you can do 3D. This is a big favorite of many of our users. Oops, here we go. Click on the image. There we go. So now here you can see I could flip it. I can spin it. I can turn it around some more, and I can also make it pop out of the screen. So our 3D actually rotates on a 3D pane. You can do this on images. You can do this onto his video. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a new slide for that. You'll see here we do have one that already has a video. Great. That already has a video embedded. I'm just going to go onto YouTube and pull something up. So I'm going to go ahead and let's select this Matchbox 20 video. Normally with when you take a YouTube video and put it onto a website, you actually need to embed it. So a lot of you might be familiar with having to go onto the share and copying this link. Well, fortunately with Emaze, you don't need to do that. All you need to do is you can copy this link directly, literally copy and paste it. You could replace this video here with another one. Oops, sorry about that. Or we can go ahead and paste an entire new video right here. And all I did was I just pasted the URL link. I didn't do anything else. So that's a pretty cool thing that you can do. Within the video, there's not too many features. You can also change the, oops, sorry about that. You could change the fading, and you can also, sorry, I'm having a bit of difficulty with the internet. On your site. In terms of video, we right now only have the ability to import YouTube videos. We do have in our roadmap the ability to upload other videos, but right now the only option we have is a YouTube video. So we recommend that you import any videos that you like to use and put it there. And if you don't want to publish, you could, of course, always do it private. Chart. We actually made this with the shapes. I'm a really big fan of this. I think it's a really cool thing to do because traditional graphs, bar line graphs, people are sick of seeing. And it's a lot more fun to display your data in a neat way like this. And I think it catches the attention of the viewer as well. So we have a bunch of different shape options. Each and every template has its own predefined shapes, but of course we have the same exact ones across the board. So for example, if I wanted to take this puzzle piece and I wanted to go add more data, I could go click on text. I'm going to add a text box. And I'm just going to go ahead and type here puzzle. So I'm going to add this there. I'm going to make it bold. And then I like what we did here. So I think I'm actually just going to click this button right here, which is copy, and I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to do it again and duplicate it. In terms of the effects of shapes, it's very similar to your text and your images. So you can, of course, change the color. You'll see that we have a lot of color options within the shapes. You can add borders. Oops. You can, of course, add effects, which I showed you earlier. It has its own special effects just for the shapes. Jumping side to side. You can, of course, change the fading of it. You can attach a link, like I mentioned before, if you wanted to take, let's see here, if you wanted to take this cat, and let's erase. Video from YouTube and add sound to it, I could do that. I could click on it, and I would attach that sound right here. As I mentioned before, you can, of course, move your images from front to back. You can flip it, and of course, we have this 3D pane. Now, the last thing I want to move on to is charts. I know if a lot of you are used to using Excel or PowerPoint, you know how difficult it can be to make your own charts, and we make it pretty easy for you. We, of course, in our slides, we have our own predefined ones that you can play around with. To do, or you could click here on charts, and you can actually select to plot your data in here and select the type of chart you want. So whether it is a scatter plot, a line plot, a pie chart, whatever you may be, we have a very simple way to import your data, and it immediately will make that data plot for you. Okay, so that was a bit of a quick run through. I want to go over a couple more features, and then I want to open the floor for questions. In the meantime, like I said before, if there's anything you want to ask now, you can go ahead and do so, and I'll get to it at the end of the presentation. All right, guys. So this is really important. You should always save your presentation. Unfortunately, the internet is not always reliable, and if for some reason you were working on your presentation and the internet stopped, then you could lose part of what you made. So even though this is an auto feature, I would recommend doing this just to be on the safe side of things. To watch my presentation, I can go ahead and click on play. You'll see that there's a couple more features when I click on this play button. We have some more editing features. We have the ability, like I said before, you can duplicate an entire presentation. You could download your presentation. This is also a feature for our premium users where you have the ability to download and view your presentation offline. For whatever reason, if you're somewhere where you don't have internet and you don't have access, you can view it directly on your desktop. But you should know if you do have any links, any videos, anything from the internet, then you would not be able to access those things unless you did have wireless. You could print your slides in a layout. A little trick is that when you click the print button, you can actually click Save As, and you can save it as a PDF. I know this is really important for a lot of people to give their bosses. We have the share feature right here. Oops. Now, in the sharing, you have a couple options. Again, privacy is a premium feature. All users, by default, have their presentations open to the public. So that means whatever you're creating, someone can find it in a Google search, or it's open to whoever wants to see it. To share a presentation with a specific person and only allow them to see it, you could click and enter their email here. Of course, as I mentioned before, I have premium, so I have the ability to make this private. And what this says is this presentation can only be viewed by collaborators, which means people who I choose to share this with are able to see it. If I unclick this, then you'll see that I have the public options. And again, I still have privacy abilities on here, so I can give the option of do I want them to be able to view it, print it, copy, download it, whatever. You can, of course, also, another feature is to add a password, which is a part of our premium feature. Of course, you can always just take this link right here. You could copy and paste it into someone's email, whatever you want to do with it. If you see here, the slides. If you don't like where the buttons are, you can actually take it off. I know it's really unattractive for a lot of people to be giving a presentation in a big group. You see these buttons, it doesn't look so good, so you can take those off. For our tech-savvy friends, you can embed your presentation into a website, which looks pretty cool. A lot of our users do this. All you need to do is copy and paste this code, and it will be an iframe inside of your website. We also do have a translation feature, so if for some reason you want to translate it into another language, you have the ability to do so. This is a function with Google Translate. You'll see here at the bottom we have a couple more things. If you run over this microphone, it says voice command. Now, if I wanted to activate that, it'll give me a prompt, and then I'm actually able to tell the presentation to move to the next slide, to go back to play, to stop, without having to click on a mouse, to use a remote. This is a pretty cool thing to do. If I want to view all the slides at once, I can also do that and just simply go to where I want to. You can, of course, do a slide in full screen. And I'm just going to show you one more thing real quick. Within each slide, you also have some more editing features. If you want to delete a slide, you can simply push the X. If I want to duplicate it, I do this a lot. If I like the format, I'm just moving over a couple of things. And then if you click over here, you have specific options for slides. So this is actually when you're in play mode. You are able to decide how long you want them to stay on each slide. So if I wanted someone to stay on each slide for 30 seconds, apply to all slides, I have the ability to do so. I can also click the page scroll, which means that if I continue down this way, I can continue to write text. And if I click here, it opens up that feature for me. Autoplay, again, it means that you're automatically playing the presentation. You don't have to do anything. It's just in the background. All right, guys. I think that wraps it up. I see a couple of you have already asked me some questions. So go ahead, please send some more, and I'm going to start reviewing the ones who have already submitted them. Fading, and you can add titles, or I'm sorry, frames. Someone asked that someone recently shared a presentation with them, but they weren't allowed to download it. Yes, this means that they have a premium feature. Downloading is a premium feature altogether. You can also decide if someone has the ability in the share button to download it. So then, yes, someone did lock that feature for you. 1 second. Let's talk offline about this. I think what you're trying to tell me is that the person you sent it to was not able to download it, and that's because they did not have Emaze. There's not a collaborative feature where people can download and edit at the same time simultaneously. You have the ability to download separately, or sorry, to edit separately. Esther asked, do we have to set the duration of the slides according to the video duration? Esther, you would actually have to decide within that slide if you wanted to have the video play automatically in a continuous play that you can do. Sorry guys, I'm just reading a couple more questions. Feel free to keep asking. Again, someone asked if you're able to import other images. We don't have an image gallery, so yes, of course, you can import any of your images from your computer, from outside, whatever it is. And we don't have editing features to change the colors or do anything with your images. So of course, you are more than welcome to do that on another photo site. All right, guys, does anyone have any more questions before I hang up? I'll give you a few more moments. Yes, the Emaze presentation can be saved to a desktop with the download feature. It goes into a zip and then it's saved to your desktop. It will be in a zip drive when it's saved online. We have a user just asked, is the premium, the educator version the same? Actually, they're not the same. Our premium is just all of our plans all together. I'll go ahead and show you guys those premium plans. We do have an educators package, but it is only available for educators, government workers, and nonprofits. Those are the only people I'm able to issue it to them. You'll see here our pricing. So in terms of collaboration, you'll see here that the Pro allows up to 3. Emazing is unlimited. Pro is also able to download, view offline, use your own logo. Instead of having the Emaze, you have the privacy controls. So the biggest 2 features with Emazing is the storage capacity and the sharing offline. If you're an educator, then we do have other features for you, but you'll need to contact the customer support in order to gain access to it. Someone just asked if you can use AirPlay with Apple TV to mirror from an iPad. I'm not sure if we have that capability or not. We're not equipped for Apple TV as far as I know. I recommend using maybe an HDMI cord instead. Any other questions, guys, while you still have me? See a couple of people typing. I'll give you a few more moments. All right, guys. Well, it seems like it's all the questions that you have. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to contact me or support for any technical questions. They'll be able to better serve you. I want to thank you again. You have my email, and I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.